What's up, AfterBuzzers? We are one step closer to the Battle of the Titans, who are going to be our final two, making it on to the end of this season. Stick around.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz TV, the ESPN of TV talk. Now, let the buzz begin.
That's right, y'all. It's Thursday night. Y'all know what time it is. It's time for another episode of the Titan Games After Show right here on AfterBuzz TV. This season is just flying by.
I know, literally it's over almost.
Right?
It's crazy. I don't know where time went.
Seriously, guys, thank you so much for joining us. My name is Ty Matthews. Y'all can find me on all forms of social media at Ty Matthews PMA. Joining me, as always, the squad since day one. You can find her online at Julana.
Squad.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Julana Dizon.
Hey guys, you can find me on Instagram at Julana.
There it is. See, I always get the two confused. I always
Yeah.
get them mixed up. Two Julanas left. You can see her on the network talking about Botched as well as on this very show. You can find her online at _Tyra Prude. Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Tyra Prude.
Yes, great intro. Like he said,
Gotta
all social
keep-
media platforms _Tyra Prude.
Keep that energy up. That's what the intros are all about, is keeping the energy up. I stole that from my good buddy Johnny LaQuasto. Shout out to Johnny LaQuasto. So we've got our final Titans selected. We're already at the end. We've seen all sorts of challenges, of obstacles. I'll be taking you behind the mythological origins of one of these obstacles later on in the show and beyond the games. But let's start with Atlas Smash. Let's start with Davy Barnes taking on Elisara Edwards. What I loved about this, what jumped out to me about these two, about the dichotomy between these two, is that we get Davy Barnes.
Mm-hmm.
And let me preface this. No disrespect to Davy Barnes. He seems like an upstanding gentleman.
I already know what you're going to say.
But his backstory is like, yeah, I'm a big buff guy and I come and do construction at people's houses.
Right.
And that's kind
And
of
sometimes people think I'm a stripper.
Exactly.
And I can do a peck dance.
Yeah, he's got his knee pads on.
Don't forget he's a farm boy.
He's a farm boy
Is he?
from
Yeah.
South Dakota. Yeah, I'm relocated to Phoenix. Huge guy, built like a brick shit house. But Elisara Edwards, he gets our heartwarming story.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's a family man. He met his future wife at 17, proposed at 19. She was diagnosed with late stage lupus. Absolutely just heartbreaking story here from Elisara. It's impossible not to root for the guy.
Yeah.
You know?
It
Yeah.
was. That's so young. She passed away at 23. It's
Right.
so young.
And like you said, being paired with like Davey, was like he had no chance.
No.
It was just like we want him to win because
Exactly.
he deserves it. Not saying that Davey didn't deserve it, but you know.
But yeah, when you've got that, you know, everyone's kind of pulling for you, and so they face off in Atlas Smash, and I love seeing the different strategies in Atlas Smash. You know, we see Davey kind of trying to take it out with these small little chunks, conserve his strength, whereas Elisara is hitting with these huge strokes. What did you guys think of that?
Yeah, I think, well, obviously Elisara's worked better,
Hmm.
but also with that one in particular, it's like once you see the one person start running and start pulling it, I feel like it raises the pressure so much on the
Mm-hmm.
other person because they're like, oh my God, I gotta go faster. And, you know, I feel like that can really affect their strength and their mental strength because they start stressing out about it.
Yeah, definitely.
I thought it was really interesting that they're both big guys and they're both, you know, really built. Well, big as in tall, and then they're built.
Right.
And I feel like the first round, they kind of not struggled, but we've watched previous ones where they're just like smashing it down.
Yeah.
And they were like, either they were just trying to be strategic or I don't know, but I feel like I watched the first round for so long. It was kind of weird.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that because there is an element of strategy to this, because if you start pulling that rock too soon and you have to let it back down and then
And
go
break,
back and break
right,
more of it,
yeah.
that could throw off your entire game. But yeah, you're right. These dudes are massive. David Barnes, 6'3", 260 pounds. Elisara, 6'1", 240.
Yeah, I just thought they were going to just knock right through him.
Right,
So I was
exactly.
like, oh,
Yeah.
what's going on?
Right, exactly. And it looked like Elisara might have been tiring out on that second round, on that second pass. But eventually he raises it, makes his way to Mount Olympus. So let's talk about the tower drop, the kind of the other half of the men's qualifiers. Brad Schaefer taking on Covenant Fulana. I love the tower drop. It's just, we've talked about it before. It's giant high stakes kerplunk. I don't know if y'all played that. If you guys played that, hit us up on Twitter. But it's, you've got to climb this enormous tower, pull out these poles. What did you guys think of this competition?
This is one of my favorite ones. This one, and then the other one they did at the end, the off the rails. I think these two are my favorite.
Love off the rails.
Because this one is a lot about strategy and quickness and arm strength. And I kind of like the ones that are more like agility based versus like just pure strength.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was rooting for Covenant on this one. I was kind of sad that he missed. I mean, we've actually never seen a contestant kind of mess it up as bad as he did. Like he missed the line, and then he pulled. Oh my God. When he pulled the golden pole,
I know we both gasped at that point.
We were both like, oh, what happens now?
Yeah, I thought it was gonna, like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, is he gonna get disqualified, or is the ball just gonna already just drop because he got to the gold one first?
Right.
But it sucked that it kind of just like messed him up.
And it's more of a kind of physics sort of thing, because like, yeah, you can technically do that, but we saw what happened. That stone kind of dropped in such a way that it made it impossible to win at that point.
Yeah, it was like, I feel like, did he have to like climb back down to remove those other ones first before it would just completely drop?
No,
Or
he had to climb down to remove one that he missed. But I think once he pulled the golden pole, the other one that was the blue pole that was still holding it in place was at such an angle that like he couldn't have pulled it out.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because the ball had like
started to
right.
drop,
Yeah, that was insane.
And so Brad Shaver, he takes an early lead, but Covenant, he misses the third pole, he misses the fifth pole, pulls the gold pole too early, just like he
was excited.
Exactly, yeah. And I think part of it is that like he was making just a straight shot, whereas part of the challenge of tower drop is kind of having to make your way around and pull out different poles and kind of maneuver around the tower on your way up.
Yeah, he was trying to like take a shortcut or like try to think smarter, and it just kind of backfired.
Right, exactly. And sometimes that happens. Sometimes the path of least resistance, isn't quite what it seems, because I'm sure that's like the first thing in your head, like, oh, I'll just go straight up and just pull these out, and you don't realize that like, no, there's other stuff on the other side of it,
Yeah, but like, even I always go back to Shannon's interview, but like even with that, like no one knows, like he didn't know prior to it about how it went. He just had to do it. So I don't know, it just kind of sucks in a way, because you would think that you can just, once you grab the gold pole, you're good, but no.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a learning experience while you're doing it, which makes it even more intense.
Sure. But yeah, I loved his background, coming from Nigeria, moving to Chicago in 2011. I love what he said about having an elastic heart.
Me too.
It's such an interesting way to put that,
I feel like sometimes people that grow up speaking other languages, when they explain things sometimes in English, the words that they use to describe them are not words that we would typically use, but sometimes they're even more beautiful. Like, I loved that he said that elastic heart. Like, nobody that grew up speaking English would ever say that.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. It's a lot more poetic, for sure.
Yeah, it is.
If I can go off on a little bit of a tangent, I don't know if y'all have seen the Fire Festival documentaries. Have you guys seen those?
Yeah, I saw one of them.
So one of them, I can't remember exactly which one it is. I think it was the one on Hulu. But one of the workers on the island talks about having a conversation with Billy McFarland and saying that a drunk mind speaks a sober tongue. Yeah. And I think that kind of speaks to that sort of that sort of poetic kind of nature. Such an interesting way to put it.
Should use that in a poem. It is Valentine's Day.
There you go. My
elastic heart. Somebody can use that.
Big chest, elastic heart. A fan of The Rock from the WWE days.
That's so cute.
Of course. But let's talk Uprising real quick.
Oh my God.
Man, so our friend of the show, Shannon Decker, she was in here near the beginning of the season. Guys, go find that episode if y'all haven't seen it already. A fantastic interview. Shannon Decker takes on Sandra Arechidera in Uprising. Sandra Arechidera is 51 years old, didn't start competing in sports until 42.
That's insane.
That's
to me.
wild.
That's amazing.
Right?
Like, what?
What did you guys think of this kind of competition in general and kind of the backstories of these two competitors?
Well, I have been waiting for this episode because Shannon is a friend of mine and we've modeled together for a couple years now. But yeah, when she was here for the interview, she was so awesome to talk to. And so I've just been waiting to see her on the show.
All
so I was
season
really
long.
happy. Yeah, all season long. But you know what? Like, I didn't really know any of her backstory and everything. And just learning all these things about, you know, someone that is your friend. Oh my God, I almost wanted to cry.
Right.
Yeah.
But she's so, like, and also knowing her as a person, she's so motivational and inspirational all the time, every single day. Her Instagram is, like, so awesome.
Yeah, and that was one of the first things that you could tell when she came into the studio is just how relentlessly positive she is, you know? Especially to get into her backstory a little bit, emancipated at 15 with her brother, went to move in with her aunt and uncle, started diving into every sort of sport you could think of, everything from swimming to skateboarding to everything in between. But then her brother passed away in a rock climbing accident. And so it's just like she's been kind of battling through so much stuff for so long that, you know, it makes sense that she would be this resilient and this kind of have this sort of perseverance, you know?
Yeah. And then not only that, I think she was saying it was the anniversary of his death. So it was like it really pushed her to go even harder. And you definitely saw that in her performance.
Sure.
And like going back to when we were comparing Davy, like that whole story, it was like you couldn't help but root for her in this challenge also.
Right. But Uprising, it's such an interesting competition to watch and seeing kind of how it affects different people, you know? We saw Shannon just diving and hitting the ground to raise that anvil up through the platforms. What do you guys think?
Yeah, well, we've seen that before, so I think that's probably the best tactic to use for that.
Yeah,
Unless you're
definitely.
just really insanely strong and you can just run,
Sure.
you know, through it. But I feel like all the other ones that have been struggling, once they do the dive, they make some headway.
Right.
Yeah, I totally agree. That was probably the best decision she made. But like she like powered through from the beginning. Like she was
Yeah.
the first one to get it, and once she started lunging, it was like over with. It was like, okay, it's hers.
Right. And I felt so bad for Sandra because, like, the way that very first barrier broke, every time after that, when she would try to raise it up, it would kind of
Yeah.
get caught on the edges and it would completely ruin its momentum.
That sucks.
Yeah.
It definitely sucked. And in a way, I was like, wait, how did this happen? Like, we haven't seen that happen to anyone
No,
else. So I'm just like, what did she do different? Or it sucked watching
Right.
that.
Yeah, it's just one of those, complete unfortunate coincidences, just the exact way that it kind of broke. It almost reminded me of on Tower Drop, what happened to Covenant. Just the way that the obstacles fall makes it almost impossible to move past it.
Yeah.
So let's move on to Off the Rails. I know we've talked about it, one of our favorite competitions. It's so kind of fun to watch. Kara Lazowskis taking on Brianna Evans. And Brianna Evans, I felt so bad watching her because she just could not get that momentum going.
It was like our Frank the Tank.
Right.
I was just like, ooh, come on, you got it. Like, she was literally using all of her strength. You saw her, like, muscles.
Oh my God, her arms were enormous too.
Yeah, it was so tough
The
to
only
watch.
thing that I was thinking when they were like zooming in on her muscles, I was like, wow, my arms have never looked like that. I was like, what would my arms look like if I was doing this right now? They wouldn't look like that.
Yeah.
But I will say, Kara just like blew me away. I mean, honestly,
Seriously.
and even in the Mount Olympus, she's the only competitor I think that I've seen on the show. I mean, she didn't seem like she had any trouble at all.
No.
Every
None.
single thing that she was put up against, she just went through it. Like,
especially like
no
just
problem.
considering her backstory.
yeah, and she only has one lung.
The fact that she has one lung, she's
Like-
at 78% lung capacity right now, which she says is that of a typical smoker. And the
Yeah.
fact that she can, with all of that, put on this kind of a performance.
Like, she is a Titan in my eyes.
Sure.
And, like, period. Even if she doesn't, make it to the final, become the overall Titan. I think, like, just her strength and endurance and just, like, that that determination to prove people wrong was just beautiful within itself. And then to see her excel, it was just like, wow, like this girl, she came to play, and whoever has doubted her, they're like literally probably crying somewhere now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she just didn't seem phased at all. But I really like what she did in the off the rails. She was the only one we've seen where she like hooked her leg around. She really made use of the platform.
Yeah, well,
that was smart.
She was pressing her leg against that post for leverage, and yeah,
Very
exactly.
smart.
That was so resourceful. She was not budging in the least.
Yeah, because then your bottom half is anchored. It's not going to move. Versus like if you wouldn't have done that and you're in a squat position, you could potentially fall over backwards. I thought that was so smart.
Definitely. So yeah, a hell of a performance there. And we also we've seen this strategy work before, those kind of, when you're at kind of the grappling hook part of this competition, using those kind of short tosses to kind of make sure that they hook, you know?
Yeah.
She just didn't, I'm sorry.
Oh, no,
she just didn't struggle at all. Like, I feel like even on some of the, like, she, you know, pulled through. And then sometimes we'll see, like, everybody gets past that, but then when it goes to throwing those hooks, they get stuck. She was just, like, unbelievable. Did everything right. It was almost, like, insane.
No, she's a machine for sure. I'm excited to see, more of her. So speaking of that, let's move on to Mount Olympus and kind of her performance against Shannon Decker. And, man, her friends in the crowd calling her a spider monkey, because the way that she flew across those barrels on the rolling ascent was absolutely unreal. What'd you guys think?
That was probably one of my favorite moments of the whole season.
Right?
Just her friend in the crowd. You're a spider monkey. Like, I hope my friends would be that supportive of me.
Yeah. Her friends were amazing. They were like crying in the stands.
Yeah. But even this one, every obstacle, you know, like we were saying, most athletes, they get to one obstacle and you see them struggle a little bit. She did not struggle on anything. Not one thing seemed like it was hard for her. She just went through it, executed it perfectly, timely, didn't stumble. I was like,
yeah,
crazy.
And especially being an amateur MMA fighter, I think that came in handy when she got to the cliffs. She had to punch out those footholds for herself. And just like the way that she cranked that torch up at the top of the hill, just absolutely insane.
yeah. And where Shannon kind of got stuck on the uphill,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was like one thing that she couldn't quite push
That's
past.
always,
And it felt like, to me, it was like that was the only thing that like strained her. I think if that wasn't so tough, she would have like flew through it.
Absolutely.
But that kind of really took all of her strength and momentum. And after that, like she still like put on a good fight, but it was just like, ooh.
She caught up. She did catch up more than I thought. When she finally got past that, she got the torch crank up, made it down a few of those walls, you know, but it was not enough to put a stop to Kara.
Did you hear what she said to The Rock at the end? She was like, oh, I'm going to go home and work on my forearms.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So shout out to Shannon. We still love you. But just an absolutely astounding performance. Speaking of which, let's talk about the men's Mount Olympus competition. Brad Schaefer taking on Elisar Edwards. Holy crap, y'all.
This was another crazy moment for us. While
Right?
we were watching
This was new.
Yeah.
We never seen it before. I completely did not, like, plot twist.
Right, exactly.
Literally, plot twist.
Yeah. No, that was once again another moment of us just like gasping out loud, you know?
It's almost sad because, like, that is the worst way to lose. Like,
Right.
just being right there. He literally lost by, like, 1 second only because he couldn't find the relic.
Right.
And he didn't struggle with, that last one. But, just struggling to find it. That's what was so sad and unfortunate about it, because he breezed through everything. Like, I don't think we've ever seen anyone just kill every part of Mount Olympus before. So for him to lose simply because he couldn't find it, man,
That's gotta be
I
so
would have been
rough.
so sad.
Yeah, it was the ball and chain because when Brad got down there, he literally just picked it up and ran.
Well, and I love that moment because right before he gets to the ball and chain, the commentators are saying, you know, like, oh, he said that the ball and chain might be the thing he has the most trouble with. And then he just starts pulling it so fast across the ground.
And That's probably
crazy.
smart. I mean, we've seen other competitors do that where they pull it from the anchor
From the
point,
base, yeah, exactly.
which is smart. But I think he did it the best out of anyone that we've seen.
Sure, definitely. Real quick to rewind, I forgot Brianna Evans. Congratulations to her.
Engagement.
Her boyfriend Brandon pops the question, proposes to her after Off the Rails is concluded. So that was a nice feel good moment.
Definitely, and I mean, it totally made up for her loss.
Exactly.
I would have forgot about everything at that moment.
So we've got our final two Titans making it to the Battle of the Titans. Kara Lazowskis, Brad Schaefer. I'm very, very excited to see what Kara does in the Battle of the Titans. We've talked a little bit, we've speculated a little bit about what those are going to look like. We'll see.
No, I'm just excited to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Because we've got 16 Titans to kind of sift through to find a champion at the end of the season.
And he said they're all coming back next season.
Yeah.
I mean, next episode.
Yeah. So that's gonna be a big one. That's gonna be a lot to check out. But in the meantime, I want to take y'all beyond the games a little bit. Talk about the very first competition that we saw on the show way back in episode 1 all those weeks ago. I want to talk to you a little bit about the Herculean Pull. There we go. I like that. So if y'all are watching on YouTube, remember, leave us a thumbs up, leave us a comment, all that good stuff. We want you to be part of the competition, or the conversation, rather, but also the competition. Hey, who knows? But yeah, so you'll see some visual aids of what we're going to talk about. I'm going to talk a little bit about the namesake of the Herculean Pull. So right there, you see the Herculean Pull from earlier on in this season. One of the most visually engaging competitions there is. But its namesake Hercules, let's get into him a little bit. Hercules, known to the Greeks as Heracles, real close. It was later Romanized as Hercules. That's him right there. Nice little gold relief. After he was driven mad by his mother, he slew his entire family. I don't know if y'all knew that. Yeah,
That is not the Disney Hercules movie that I knew.
Yeah.
They took a little creative
love.
license with that. Hercules, he was driven mad by his mother, slew his entire family, including his wife Meg, Megara. That's her right there in this little vase art. But for that, he sought penance by serving King Eurystheus. That's him, very, very handsome gentleman. He sought penance for all this. It weighed heavy on his conscience. So,
it should.
Exactly. He had a mental break, and all that happened, and so he went to serve King Eurystheus. And at the order of King Eurystheus, Hercules performed what were originally the 10, but later became the 12 labors, which included right here, capturing the Cerberus. That was one of the very last ones that he performed. He also slayed the Nemean lion. He captured the Cretan bull, all sorts of labors. So there were originally 10 of them, but 2 of them, Eurystheus said, did not count. Because one of them he took payment for, and another one he had help with. So he said, you know what, I'll do 2 more just to make up for him. So that's just a little bit of a backstory on Hercules and the 12 labors, the namesake of the Herculean Pull, one of my favorite competitions on the show. But so pretty interesting stuff.
That's actually really interesting.
Thank you, guys. We got a fact test in here.
I feel like the Disney movie kind of switched things around. They did all the 12 feats or whatever, and he got the girl, but they didn't mention the other
after
stuff.
this.
Didn't
Right?
mention all that part. So if you want to learn more, look up Hercules or Heracles if you're nasty. Either one,
Tomato.
same guy. Yeah, basically. But that's just a little bit of a peek beyond the games. Now, I guess we've talked about it a little bit before, but let's get into some predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Now, we still don't know exactly what what kind of form the Battle of the Titans is going to take. But there's got to be a way to eliminate a whole bunch of people all at once. What do you guys think maybe we'll see like a version of a competition that we've seen before, but with a whole bunch of people, just battle royale style?
I don't know. What I'm kind of thinking is maybe it'll be something that they can all do at the same time.
Sure.
And then whoever, like the first 3 or 6 to like make it will go on to the next thing.
Okay, there you go.
But I feel like it would have to be something that's kind of equal.
Right.
Right? Because then if they're all battling against each other now, that makes sense.
For some
to me.
reason, I don't know if this would work logistically, but in my head, I'm imagining like a giant version of Lunar Impact where it's just a whole bunch of people on a platform and they just kind of have
That's
to
like super Hunger Games.
right?
They all have to push each other.
Brutal.
Yeah, no, I wasn't thinking that, but that would be so cool.
Sure.
I was kind of thinking what you were thinking, that like it's a bunch of them, and I don't know, maybe it's like you have to break it's a time barrier that you have to complete it in, or something like that. But I am very curious to see how it goes, and I'm still hoping for maybe another new course.
Sure.
The previews we saw a couple of the same ones.
I'm hoping.
But,
I think we'll see something new.
I think we talked about how we want to see like a mega mountain or something like that.
It's
like,
the aggro crag.
Yeah,
we gotta see
it
the
has
Titan
to be
Games version.
like it has to be something that is just like if you overcome this, you are a Titan, like
right.
for real.
You get $100,000. You take a piece of that radical rock. There you go. Brie, let's throw that up there for our YouTube viewers. There's the aggro crag. I don't know if y'all watched Global Guts back in the day. Did you guys watch that?
I didn't.
No, man. Dating myself right here. Brie knows
That's
what
what you
I'm
want
talking
him on?
about. That's the aggro crag right there.
We need something like that.
That's the radical rock. I loved that thing.
Yeah, or it could be like guys versus girls. Like say if they had something like this, a big mountain, they could each have like their own section, and like maybe whoever gets to the top first is the winner.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll see. Whatever you guys think is going to happen, make sure to find us on Twitter, find us on Instagram, be part of the conversation. Let's all talk about the Titan Games while we still got time left in the season to talk about it. But that's it for our episode. We will be back next week, same time, same channel, talking about the Battle of the Titans, whatever form that takes. But guys, why don't you tell our lovely viewers and listeners where they can find you?
Yeah, guys, so you can find me on all social media platforms @_Tyra Prude.
And you guys can find me on Instagram @Julana.
As always, y'all can find me on all forms of social media @TyMatthewsPMA, as well as on Wednesday nights on the Magicians After Show. We're just getting started with season 4, so we got a whole lot to talk about from there. But we hope that you'll join us for the remainder of this season of the Titan Games. It's been so much fun, so thank you so much for joining us thus far. But until next week, peace.
You're tuned in to AfterBuzz. Our founder, Keven Undergaro, and me, Maria Menounos, would like to thank you for tuning in to AfterBuzz TV. Remember, we're not just the first, we're the biggest in the world, and we're the only destination for all your favorite TV shows. Whatever you crave, we've got it. So go to AfterBuzzTV.com and check out our lineup. Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.